It seems like forever ago that we first got excited about the Nintendo Switch releasing alongside Breath of the Wild. And it was almost 8 years ago. But its successor, the Switch 2 for lack of a better name, is on the horizon. Rumours and leaks of all kinds have been swirling around the internet, so in this video we're going to dive into everything we know about the Switch 2, talk about when I think the console will release based on what we know, and try to answer one simple question. Is the Switch 2's changes enough to make the console succeed in the current video game landscape? Starting with the most recent news, the president of Nintendo, Furukawa, took to X to announce that we will get an official confirmation and news about the Nintendo Switch 2 before the fiscal year is over, which means that they will make an announcement before March 2025. However, he also mentioned that it won't be at the Direct in June. This means that the Switch 2 announcement will be sometime between June 2024 and March 2025. But that doesn't rule out Summer Game Fest, which happens a little bit later. We know that unlike other companies who like to announce things early and then make us wait while the hype builds, Nintendo likes to either shadow drop their products or leave a very short window between announcement and release. That means whenever we do get more information about it, and the Nintendo president has said that that'll be soon, then the actual release of the Switch 2 won't be far behind. During a follow-up earnings call, the Nintendo president was asked if the Switch 2 was an entirely new console or just a more powerful revision of what we already have. Furukawa said that it was more like the next model. This means that it's likely we won't be seeing something radically different, and it'll probably be in the same form factor but just more powerful. So what is in this next model of Nintendo Switch? More on that later. GamesIndustry.biz has pointed out that President Furukawa said that Nintendo start expecting Switch sales to peter out by the end of this fiscal year, which is March 2025. This brings us to a similar time to when the first Switch launched back in March 2017. This is a huge deal because it could potentially mean we're getting the Switch 2 around April or May of 2025. If Furukawa says that sales are petering out and the console is old, then it would be a wise move to kick the next financial year off with a boom so that investors are happy. Connecting the dots between how Nintendo operate, what Furukawa said, and how old the Nintendo Switch is, I think it's safe to say that we could be playing the Switch 2 in our homes in under a year. This is backed up by a leaker called Centro, who said that the Switch 2 will launch in May 2025. Centro has put out a timeline for what Nintendo will do in the next year, and so far it's checking out. The timeline for the next few months is as follows. We're going to get more remasters of past Nintendo games, which will be revealed in the June Direct, which is planned as being the last big Switch-focused Direct before the Japanese giant pivots all their marketing towards the Switch 2. An Indie World is planned for August, and that will wrap up the last remaining indie game announcements for the current Switch. The juicy stuff starts rolling out in the second half of this year. As we move out of summer, Nintendo will start to confirm some third-party games that will be coming to the Switch 2. Then, we will get an official announcement revealing the Nintendo Switch 2 and showing it off in fall of this year. The Nintendo Switch 2 marketing hype train will kick in after that. In May 2025, our Switch 2 consoles will be being delivered to our doors. So now we know when to expect the Switch 2. How will it actually look and play? And what new features will it bring to the table? Firstly, leaker Centro has reiterated that the Switch 2 will have both physical and digital backwards compatibility with original Switch games. This is excellent news because it's something that Nintendo has done a poor job of in the past. It's stopped people buying games on their systems for fear of not being able to access them when the next console comes out. So this is a great step towards what players want and need. Based on what they know, Centro has also made a mock-up of what the Nintendo Switch 2 console will look like, comparing it to the original Switch and the Steam Deck. Most notably, it will have an 8-inch screen. Based on rumoured specs, it seems like the Switch 2 will be the equivalent of a PS4 Pro in power, so just shy of PS5 power. This isn't at all surprising because when the Switch came out, it wasn't as powerful as the PS4 and Xbox One, so I wasn't expecting Nintendo to produce a powerhouse, and this should still allow us to have a really great leap in quality. The addition of an extra inch of screen real estate, up from 7 inches of the OLED Switch, is also great, but it's yet to be seen just what resolution we're talking about here. It would be nice to be able to play games in 1080p portably. Other leaks say the Joy-Cons will attach magnetically this time rather than by a sliding rail. This is good and bad. It's good because the rails were annoying, caused unnecessary wear, and if you put them on the wrong way, you had to almost break the console to get them off. The bad news is that I hope they have very strong magnets, because otherwise they're just going to fall off very easily when you're mid-boss fight. Industry insider Moore's Law is Dead has said that sources at Nvidia, the makers of Nintendo's internal hardware, have said that the Switch 2 hardware has been ready for years, but Nintendo is holding out for more sales to launch a successor. This could account for why we're only seeing PS4 Pro levels of power in the console. It's understandable why Nintendo would hold off from a financial point of view, because they want to milk every penny from the current Switch while it's still selling, but if this is ever confirmed, it would be a PR nightmare for them, because they've been withholding new hardware from consumers and letting it just slowly age out of relevance for profit. Now that we know the Switch 2 is likely going to release in May 2025 and what kind of specs and features we can expect to see, I can't help but wonder whether it's good enough to compete with the current market. If the Switch 2 is more powerful and an inch girthier, is that going to be a compelling purchase for current Switch owners in a market that also has the Steam Deck, the Lenovo Legion, and the Asus ROG Ally? Yes, it will have Nintendo games, something you can't get or play anywhere else, but it's not really going to be as much of a revolution as the first Switch. When the first Switch console released almost 8 years ago, nothing like this had been done before. It was revolutionary. Nintendo managed to combine their previously separate home console and portable audience into one, with a hybrid console you could take anywhere with you at a moment's notice. Marketing was full of people playing Zelda and Mario at basketball courts and parties, but that market is now far more saturated. Nintendo also no longer has a monopoly on the portable indie market, with the PC and Linux-based handhelds giving players far more choice and power for their money. Games are cheaper on the Steam store and they run better on the Steam Deck, so why get the Switch for anything other than first-party games? Each time Nintendo releases a console, they like to add something revolutionary, even if it isn't well received. The Wii added motion controls, the Wii U added a touchscreen, and the Switch was a hybrid portable. But the Switch 2 just really seems to be a more powerful version of the console we got 8 years ago, and I can't help but wonder if that will be really enough to compete and be profitable. But that's everything I have for you today. Please leave a comment below, letting me know your thoughts and opinions on the Switch 2. Are you going to buy it day one? Are you going to wait and see? Do you agree it will come out in May 2025? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.